Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to report.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't believe I'm still saying that. And if you want to watch a broadcast, it's very easy. You just go to Reaver.one and click on the SHR TV button. And that is Reaver, REAVER .ONE. What the heck? Something's always wrong. I know I corrected that. Let's see if I can correct that here. There's always screw-ups going on in the beginning of the show, isn't there? Always. Now I don't want to show that I'm actually doing a live show. Sometimes this really ticks me off. Here it goes. There we go. I swear, either this program or YouTube is majorly screwing up. It's unbelievable. It really is. It really makes me wonder. I don't know. It's been a weird couple of days for me. I wasn't on Friday. We had storms coming in. We had Hurricane Irma coming in. And it was interesting. It was very interesting. My neighborhood, I'll have to say, got lucky as hell. My neighborhood got lucky as hell. And why I say that is because you go a couple blocks, like 2 blocks from my house, in the same neighborhood, and they're without power. You go behind my house, they're without power. My little strip has power. It's the last minute. I say last minute. I mean, for watching the storm come in the way we were last minute, it went east, and it was unfortunate for other parts of Florida, fortunate for us. So we didn't get hit that hard. It's been, trying to get everything back to normal, get things put back. But with my house, it was very minor to do all that. My parents stayed with me for a couple nights just to make sure that they were safe, and I really appreciate that they did that. Because if not, man, it would have had me up a wall. For a while. I would have been trying to race over there during the storm, checking up on them, because that's what I do. But they stay with me, my wife, and daughter. We had a good time. It was very interesting. I guess I could say I'm officially a Floridian now. And I gotta put out there the love that was shown to me from a lot of people. The messages on Facebook, the private messages I got. It was heartfelt. I appreciate it. And I don't want to try to single anybody out, but I got to give two people a shout out for that. Zackhead Sean, White Mamba on Twitter. Me and him are going back and forth a lot. He opened his home to me and my family just in case we wanted to evacuate. That meant a lot to me, so White Mamba, thank you. And Crash, Zackhead Sean. And then there's so many on Facebook that reached out to me. I can't, go after each one. And one of my oldest friends, Danny, was reaching out to me to make sure I was okay. So, guys, that really meant a lot to me and my family. And thank you so much. All right. I don't want to sit here and yammer on about the storm because really not that it's not worth talking. It was less of an impact on me as it was on other people. So I don't want to, I don't want to make it seem like it was this big issue when it wasn't that big of an issue for me, but it was for others. So, alright, with that, it is. I see things have not calmed down since I, was away from the airwaves. I see things are just as screwed up as they were. Cheap shots are being taken left, right, and center. Doesn't surprise me, it really doesn't. When it comes to the political atmosphere in the left, yeah, it does not surprise me that they're taking so many cheap shots. Oh. Let's see, where are we at? One good bit of news. The travel ban has been fully reinstated. The Department of Justice asked the U.S. Supreme Court Monday to overturn an appeals court ruling that narrowed enforcement of President Donald Trump's travel ban. The dispute concerns the reach of the High Court's June ruling, which allowed the president's order to take partial effect. Though the ruling allows the president to suspend the State Department's refugee resettlement program for 120 days, it also provides that refugees with a bona fide relationship to a person or entity in the United States be permitted entry. And establishing guidance for enforcement, the Trump administration concluded that refugees who had received insurance of assistance from resettlement agencies in the United States did not have a sufficiently strong relationship with an American entity to warrant exemption from the ban. A coalition of states and civil rights groups challenged the guidance, arguing the Supreme Court's order extends to this group of refugee, which numbers approximately 25,000. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeal ruled against the administration last Tuesday, prompting the Justice Department to appeal to the Supreme Court. The Ninth Circuit order requires the administration to admit refugees contracting with resettlement agencies beginning Tuesday. So, the High Court is likely to move quickly in issuing its own ruling. Justice Anthony Kennedy issued a temporary stay of the Ninth Circuit order Monday afternoon, pending a response from the coalition challenging the administration. The stay will remain in effect until noon Tuesday. Kennedy is the justice assigned to review emergency motions arising from the Ninth Circuit. What we need is a total revamp of these lower federal courts. They are running away. They're not following laws. These judges are acting as politicians, and it's actually kind of disgusting. Because Lord knows if us citizens acted in the same manner these courts have been acting, you better believe they would be clamping down on us citizens for not acting appropriately. So, the Ninth Circuit, and what it is, what's going on lately? Because my parents are like, what the hell is all this shit? I said, what these groups do is they shop the lower federal courts. And what you mean by shop, or I should say, is they run around trying to find which courts, which judges are going to side with them before filing anything. Why do you think the Ninth Circuit gets so much attention? Because it has a bunch of liberals on it. They know, these people know that it's going to rule in their favor, so that's why they follow these motions and lawsuits in these districts. The conservatives do the same thing too. I understand that. But it's turning it into a circus. Judges aren't being judges. They're ruling with their emotions. They're ruling with their feelings, not ruling by law. They're making up law as they go along. They are dishonoring the seat that they hold. God, it's just... Oh. Is anybody else sickened by this? I know I am. It's... I don't even know where to go with it. I don't know where to go with it because it's just that tiresome. That tiresome. Oh, what to do, what to do, what to do. I don't know. It's getting to be a joke, our justice system is. And also, I know the audio is a little screwy on my live stream. I'm trying to figure out, there's a bug on the software I'm using. It's called the helicopter bug, I think is what they call it. And I'm trying to figure it out. I looked it up this afternoon. And I found a fix for it, but that didn't fix the issue. So I gotta look further into it. Probably going to contact this company. I mean, I'm paying for this goddamn software. I don't need this shit from happening. Ain't going to happen. Chicken Mike D to my dismay. Alright, where are we at? That's weird. That is really weird. Now, I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Check that out somewhere else. I don't know if there's no volume working at all on this computer. So the way to double check is you go to another computer, say a tablet you got right here, and you pull it up from there. Bada boom, bada bing. So it's I'm so tired of some of this shit. Alright, we have volume, and it's actually not that bad. It wasn't that helicopter-y. Maybe they fixed it without me bitching at them. Let me check one last feed. It's a little slow getting there. Alright, it's, like I said, it's doing pretty good, so we can leave it alone from there. Amazing. Amazing! Now watch it gets worse as the show goes on, and that's why I've had, as the show's going on, it's gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. Oh. Fugazi. It's a Fugazi. You know what a Fugazi is, don't you? Alright. It is. I also pissed me off that yesterday was September 11th, and I had in the works a 9/11 special. And number one, I didn't get it done, but I wasn't on the air last night. So I wasn't able to do my 9/11 special. Friend of mine, she's so loving and caring when it comes to pets. She does dog grooming for a vet clinic. Well, she has customers calling her up, and we don't have power. Can you watch our dog till we have power? And she's, yep, I'll do it. She's taking these dogs in. I think she said she has like 3 or 4 dogs now that she's watching for her customers. She's like, it's so nice all these customers care so much about their dogs. What are you talking about? It's you. Trying to find, I also got a friend of mine mentioned that there's a school down here, Robert E. Lee High School, I think it was, and she said something about it's on fire. So I'm trying to double check that, because if it is, that's fucking pissed me right off. And she works for the school system. Oh, and that's the other thing. I got my daughter all week. They shut down the school for the whole school system. First it was they had Thursday and Friday off. Then they had Monday off. And then it was, well, you're going to have Monday and Tuesday off. And we got text today that some of the schools don't have power. They use 42 out of 200 schools as shelters that were full, and it started out 9 schools were shelters. They, I think, ended up with 42 schools used as shelters. So that's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done, and stuff needs to be put away. So they need extra time. So they just said no school until Monday. So my daughter's home for the rest of the week. And what she doesn't realize is she's going to have to make these days up. That's what the kids are like, yeah, no school all week. You do know you have to make those days up. Oh, it was interesting, and I don't know. It's actually time for a break. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Planet Radio, and we will. Nope, not that one. Dang it! Half-ass paying attention again. That's it. I'm fired. I'm out here. All right. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
To Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where their speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians.
You got a business? You didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying capitalist, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sako as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. Just to give everybody a warning, too. If you want to watch a live stream, it's very easy. You go to reaver.one. That's REAVER.ONE. Click on the SHR TV button, and you can watch a live stream. While you're there, you can join the conversation within the chat room. Well, you can also go to YouTube, search SHR Media, and don't forget to hit subscribe while you're there. Or you can go to Facebook and look up Reaver of Common Sense. Many ways to watch the show. Many ways to see it. Let's see where we at. Oh boy. Let's see. I see Antifa didn't take the weekend off. They're losing some support. But yet they still go on with their tactics. It just goes to show, these people are violent thugs. Violent. And they will do anything to try to push their agenda. But police have made at least 7 arrests Sunday after Antifa protesters toting gas grenades and other projectiles descended on a Patriots Prayer demonstration in downtown Portland, Oregon. Patriots Prayer organizer Joey Gibson said the group only wanted to peacefully demonstrate for free speech. But Antifa claimed the rally represents bigotry and fascism. Portland police documented the violence on Twitter, reporting that Antifa protesters were loading slingshots and throwing tear gas grenades at officers, injuring at least 2 officers. Police did not specify whether those arrested in Portland were part of Antifa or the Patriot Prayer rally, the Associated Press reported. Let's see. I find it funny how pretty much anybody with a brain knows that those arrested were Antifa. The anticipation of the counter-protest, the majority of the Patriot Prayer demonstrators moved to a public amphitheater in nearby Vancouver, Washington. Antifa protesters followed the activists, however, and the police in Vancouver made 2 arrests during the resulting confrontation. 9 people arrested face varying charges from police. including attempted theft, assaulting a police officer, and interfering with a police officer. Anybody notice the only ones that really get arrested are Antifa? And Antifa is the left. That pisses me off. Our government needs to fucking clamp down on these little whiny ass bitches and shut them up once and for all. They're not out there for the betterment of the country. If you look, they're sponsored by communism parties, socialism, and they're out there to commit violence, and they're using and making false accusations at people to excuse their disgusting behavior. That's what's going on. Portland's demonstration is only the most recent in a string of violent protests this summer. Peaking at a July rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, where white supremacists and Nazis clashed with Antifa protesters. Political violence has repeatedly reared its head in Portland this year as well. At a June 4th free speech rally in Portland, Antifa attacked free speech marchers, launched projectiles that include urine and fecal-filled balloons, balloons with unknown chemicals, marbles, bricks, and rocks. The city's police chief explained in a letter to the mayor afterwards. A left-wing rally on May 1st turned into a riot after anarchists started fires, damaging property, and threw homemade explosives at police officers, resulting in 25 arrests. I'm sorry, you throw urine and fecal-filled balloons? The police need to find out the assholes that are doing that, arrest them, start testing them, because that can be attempted murder charges there, depending on if they have any transmittable disease. Again, you heard a handful of Democrats that condemned. That's not good enough in my book. You had Tim Kaine. Well, I don't know nothing about no Antifa. I ain't going to say nothing because I don't know nothing about them. Didn't his son get arrested as part of Antifa? Hey, dumbass. Maybe that's why he didn't become vice president. And number two, go talk to your son. Ask your son about Antifa. Has anybody noticed that when we have these violent outbursts, it's in a liberal state? It's in a liberal town? It's the liberals that allow this violence. It is the liberals that make their police stand down. Now, when you're in a conservative town, you have a little bit of a dust-up, but you have nothing major going on because the police keep it under control. Someone starts to get out of line, they get removed. If you can't act like an adult, you get put in time out. But yeah, here we are. Here we are. Liberal town after town that allows rioting, damage, violence. They come armed with weapons. But yet the left just, well, you know, we don't want to. Now, they went after the Tea Party, and the Tea Party never did anything like this. Anything like this. But yet they made a fuss and made it sound like this is what the Tea Party did. When their own groups do it, they just, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, they sure look like assholes going after the president for saying both groups were just as at fault. After the violence that keeps happening with Antifa. And it's the same thing over and over again. They want to shut down freedom of speech. They admit it. They want to shut it down. So what do they try doing? Marxist techniques, and they label you a racist. They label you a white supremacist, and they try to shut you down. They can't win with facts, so they have to resort to violence. And the left continues to allow this to go on. How much longer are we going to allow this to go on before we start mandating our law enforcement to enforce our laws? We have the right to peacefully protest. They don't have a right to attack us. They are not there to counter-protest. They are there to start riots. And my audio's starting to helicopter. It's how much longer? Because my biggest fear is, and I don't want to see it, my biggest fear is that finally the right gets to a point where it's had enough and it pushes back. It attacks back. And then the left's going to lose their shit and try to blame everything on us. But by time then, it might be too late. And I don't want to see it get to that point. I don't want to see a civil war erupt. Not, I don't want to say nobody. I'd say most, if not majority. Well, definitely majority. Don't want a civil war. Damn it. Pissed me off. This audio issue. I know what I'm going to be doing tonight and tomorrow. Antifa needs to be shut down because they're not being peaceful. And who is financing these groups? That's the big question. And I know we have our accusations that it's George Soros. I'm pretty sure it's George Soros that's behind it. Do we have proof that it's George Soros? He's famous for filing money through back channels. So it's not such a black and white issue. All right. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Planet Radio, and we will be right back.
Consumer media done right.
breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe.
Featuring right thinking from the left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying capitalist.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sako as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, it's easy. Just go to Reaver.one. That's REAVER.ONE, and click on the SHR Media or SHR TV button. Getting confused. I'm a blonde technically. So, the other way is to go to YouTube and search SHR Media if you haven't done that already. Don't forget why you are there. If you haven't done it already, hit subscribe. keep up to date on all of the great shows that we got going on here. And then, last but not least, you can go to Facebook and Reaver of Common Sense. And I think that's it for the live stream. I know my audio's, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just pissing me right off. Pissing me off. And if you don't know where that came from, oh God, you don't. There we are. So Kansas City police have disarmed Antifa communist rally. That's right, communist rally. Kansas City police ordered the disarmament of armed Antifa groups who marched in Washington Square Park this past Saturday. Armed with semi-automatic rifles and ammunition, activists from the Kansas City Revolution Collective, Serve the People, and Progressive Youth Organization rallied within the park to the anti-Sharia group Act for America. Dressed in black clothing and red barclays, the group carried red flags bearing the communist symbol. And what's funny is they carry the symbol and they're screaming, "They look like Nazis! They look like Nazis!" Yet they waving a flag that looks very, very similar to the Nazi swastika flag. It's amazing. Basically, if they say they just go to opposite of what they say. And that's exactly them. That is exactly who they are. It's a joke anymore with them. And a Kansas City Revolutionary Collective calls itself a Marxist-Leninist Maoist collective that has posted calls for self-preservation against far-right militia whom they claim are supported by President Donald Trump. In a post on their WordPress blog, as highlighted by Far Left Watch, the organization decried the pacifist nature and indifference that characterize much of the resistance to Trumpite fascism, and states that a more militant resistance is emerging, one that we wholeheartedly support and seek to enrich. The group calls for every communist to take self-defense seriously. They are trying to call for a military, not even a military, they're trying to talk about a coup. That's treasonous right there. That's treasonous. But yet it's the right that's being violent. It's the right that's calling for all these issues, but not the left when they're the ones actually doing the calling of it. That's what makes me laugh and piss me off at the same time. I gotta be hearing the fan. Yep, that's what it is. And according to the Kansas City Star, police ordered their disarmament and removal of ammunition from their weapons at a Saturday morning rally. The armed individuals complied, but several among them claimed that the disarmament violated their right under the state's open carry statute. Members of the group reportedly said they planned to fight the order but did not take any action at the park. "We don't see any merit to fight it now," said one of the masked Antifa members who reportedly removed ammunition from his rifle at the orders of the police. Several members who had their face covered told the publication that they were afraid of their identities being revealed for fear of harassment. Anybody notice something here? The left creates the KKK. They run around in white sheets. Now they create these Black Lives Matter and these Antifa groups, and they run around covering their faces. If these little boys thought they were big and bad, they wouldn't need to cover their face. If they weren't up to no good, and they were proud of what they did, and they thought they were in the right. They wouldn't have to fear harassment. They wouldn't have to fear covering their faces. I'm so sick of this Antifa. And I know it's not all little boys and girls, putting panties on their face and running around. Mom, can you take me to my protest? I did my cleaning of the house. I did my chores. Can you take me, Mom? There's some supposed adults. Hey, Mom, I mowed the lawn. Can you take me to the park, please, Mom? My car's in the shop. Mom, don't come down here in the basement. It's... I'm almost speechless. I was hoping, I should say, not figuring, I was hoping that it would burn out by now. That this would be done with. They would have had their little temper tantrum like a little child, and it'd be done by now. Well, it seems a lot of the politicians threw their little hissy fit, and now they're back. And Hillary, we're going to get into Hillary later. Oh my God. That woman, thank God she's not president. She's delusional. You want to talk about alternate realities? Holy shit, is that woman in an alternate reality. She thinks if she says something, it becomes the truth. Well, it don't work that way. And we're going to get into it. It just, holy shit, that new book. That thing is science fiction. I don't know. We don't see any merit to fight it now. They're a bunch of pussies. They ain't got the balls to fight it now. That's why they didn't fight it. Police told local news that ordinance allows people to possess weapons, but ammunition can't be with the weapon, adding that ordinance prohibits open carry anywhere in the city unless the individual has a concealed carry permit. What are these idiots thinking? Do they think that we're just going to bow down and give this country to a bunch of communistic pricks because they call us names? It's going to take a bigger battle than that to get me to give up. I'm just groups, our people in this great country aren't going to roll over. We never have. We never will. I'm not backing down. I know everybody here at SHR is not going to back down either. And again, I'll say it again. You know, they go in these areas and they carry their guns. Yeah. Surprised they got them loaded. I am absolutely surprised they could load a gun. Probably shot. Giving them any chance, they would have shot each other in the fucking foot because they don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, these little kids, because they played Call of Duty, they think they know what the hell they're doing. Yeah. They wouldn't know what to do in a real situation. They'd be pissing in their pants. Mommy! Oh, I'm so sick of them. It's so tiresome. They're not going to win. The only thing they're doing, and the left, I don't know if they notice it, the left is, it's hurting them. That's it. It's hurting the left, and it's hurting the Democrats. It's hurting them. People are getting tired of seeing that shit on their TVs. They're getting tired of seeing, you know, the protest of the flag during football games. NFL hasn't got it through their heads. They come up with every excuse on why the ratings went down, except to go, yeah, our employees pissed off a bunch of our customers, and we allowed it. And that's exactly what went on. Their employees pissed off the customers, and they're still allowing it to go on instead of come up and saying, you know what, we understand you have some issues, but you do that on your own time when you're not representing the NFL, when you're not representing your team. Until then, you are employees. Now, I'll tell you right now, even as a firefighter, I didn't have really much of a right even when I was away from the ambulance, because someone may know that I was working in the ambulance and they didn't want us to piss people off like that. So NFL needs to get their heads out of their ass and deal with it, because their ratings are going down and they're not getting any support from the left that they thought they were going to get. The
Sackheads radio show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcast. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Millman. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. If you want to watch a live stream of the show, it's very easy. Just go to Reaver.1, click on the SHR TV button, or go to YouTube.com, search for SHR Media. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. A lot of great shows. Too many for me to, count off right now. More shows will be added. We're always looking for more shows. What else? You can go to Facebook. Yep, definitely Facebook. With Facebook, you can go to Reaver of Common Sense, and it'll be there. What else? Missing something. Oh yeah, top of the hour. Top of the hour. Right after the Reaver of Common Sense, 11 o'clock. It'll be 11 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time. And what is that in? 8 o'clock? Pacific Standard Time. The BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, hosted by the great BZ himself. Speech is free, but the drinks are. That'll be coming up shortly, top of the hour, I should say. So then we got me here, and I couldn't believe my wife did that. My wife does nice things for me. So she was going out shopping. She was going to go to the mall. Her and my daughter were bored, so we're going to go to the mall. And she's like, anything you need? Anything you want? It's like, yeah, but it's not at the mall. I don't think Sears has it. It's not at the mall. It's at Harbor Freight. She looked at me. I said, well, this 1x30. Oh, Sandra. So she's calls me about 20 minutes later. She's like, what do you want again? She told me something. I was like, no, I want a 1x30. I was like, why? Where are you? She's like, Harbor Freight. I'm like, all right. So I told